John Bruton gets personal with Bertie Ahern. The Fianna Fáil leader says no name-calling. Dick Spring pledges to debate the election issues with PD leader Mary Harney. The single currency, no guarantee of lower interest rates, says the governor of the central bank. And a boy has died, another is very critical after a swimming accident in Dublin. Good evening and welcome. The Taoiseach has launched a strong attack on the Fianna Fáil leader Bertie Ahern, saying he had an unparalleled track record for indecisiveness. He also said Mr Ahern was devoid of any conviction. But the Fianna Fáil leader said he wouldn't get involved in name-calling with the Taoiseach, who he said must be distressed.
As soon as John Bruton arrived by chopper in Cork, he signalled that the gloves were now off in this election campaign. While he may have embraced Kathleen Lynch of Democratic Left, he was making it clear that he had no love at all for Bertie Ahern. At a news conference, Mr Bruton accused Bertie Ahern of cowardice for not taking part with him in a debate in Cork tonight. And he went on to criticise Mr Ahern's track record.
Mr Ahern has shown himself to have an unparalleled track record of indecisiveness in office. And he lacks any real conviction about anything. He was Mr Charles Haughey's candidate for the vacant leadership of Fianna Fáil in 1992. He put his head up over the parapet, then he dithered, and then he ducked and walked away.
The Taoiseach criticised Mr Ahern's handling as Minister for Finance of the currency crisis, the property tax and the tax amnesty. But Mr Bruton denied he was now engaged in mudslinging. Later, Mr Bruton heard about problems at Cork Regional Hospital. He went on several walkabouts. But it's now obvious that it's going to be a bitter run-in to election day.
The party faithful in Cork came out in their droves tonight to hear Bertie Ahern deliver his message of how he sees the future under a Fianna Fáil-led government. He was introduced to the gathering by the MEP Brian Crowley. He began his address by having a swipe at the Rainbow government.
You're doing a great job. We've them all well worried. We just have to give them some more headaches in the week ahead. Just keep at it, and God knows what they'll be saying by this night week, but I'll be still around.
And he said his government will be for all the people.
If Fianna Fáil forms the next government, I want to make one pledge to you, above all others. I will be a Taoiseach on your side. I will stand up for people, and you will always know where I stand. I will fight for people because I come from people. I understand people, and I understand their concerns.
He mightn't have been debating with John Bruton tonight, but he was certainly delivering his message to the party faithful in Cork. During a walkabout in Mill Street, Mr Ahern said he wasn't going to get into name-calling with Mr Bruton.
God bless him. God bless him. I hope he just doesn't get too distracted. There's 8 days to go in the campaign yet. I'm running a very good campaign. It seems as if he's hiding in his office, shouting down to the media. I'm not really going to respond to him.
He also says that you couldn't be let out. I mean, you must be pretty hurt by that. And that you change your mind as often as you change your socks.
Well, I assure you, I want to avoid getting into name-calling about it, but I'll just remind him that he was Minister of Finance twice, and he's the only Minister of Finance since the foundation of the state that was Minister twice but never could get through a budget.
And when Mary Harney arrived in Mill Street this afternoon for her meeting with Bertie Ahern, she received a hero's welcome from the Fianna Fáil supporters. After the half-hour meeting, the two leaders emerged and held a joint news conference, saying they will be keeping in regular contact in the coming days. A clear sign that the alternative government is now marching together in step.
And the Labour leader Dick Spring has told RTE News he will have a head-to-head television debate with Mary Harney. Earlier, Ms Harney refused to agree to a debate with Democratic left leader Princius de Rossa, saying the real decision the electorate had to make was between Labour and the Progressive Democrats. Tonight, RTE said it would be happy to facilitate a debate between Mary Harney and Dick Spring.
The question of who Dick Spring should debate with has surfaced several times during this campaign. Each time he has said he would debate with whoever Bertie Ahern wished to nominate as a potential Taoiseach, and that if the Fianna Fáil leader couldn't make up his mind between the two Marys, O'Rourke and Harney, he would take on both of them. Today, Mary Harney refused the offer of a debate with Proinsias de Rossa, saying the choice the people had to make was between the PDs or Labour in a coalition. Again, a spokesman for Mr Spring said his position was unchanged, but this evening on RTE's 6-1 programme, the Labour leader said he would debate with Mary Harney.
She's a 5% leader at the present time. I have no difficulty debating with Mary Harney.
With or without Proinsias de Rossa?
I think if she wants a head-to-head, it should be a head-to-head. I don't think a three-way debate, even though I offered the two Marys, because Bertie couldn't make up his mind about who would be Taoiseach.
This evening, Mary Harney, campaigning in Douglas in Cork, welcomed the news.
I welcome the fact that he's changed his mind. I think that is a good thing. It's a victory for democracy. And I hope that the campaign, which has descended in recent days into scaremongering and personality clashes, I hope that that changes now and that we have a debate about the issues, and I very much welcome his decision this evening.
Earlier, the Democratic left leader Proinsias de Rossa had said Miss Harney's call for a debate with both him and Mr Spring was foolish.
Simply offering a three-way debate between myself and Dick Spring is simply not on. She will find it hard enough to cope with the arguments that I have to make without having to cope with Spring as well.
But this evening, following Mr Spring's intervention, RTE said it would be happy to provide the facilities for a debate between the Labour and PD leaders.
Yes, RTE is delighted to hear that this debate can now take place. We very much hope we will be able to have a debate between the leaders of the smaller parties. We'll now be getting in touch with Labour and with Progressive Democrats and asking them about the arrangements we need to make for it. We would hope perhaps to have it next Monday, or if not next Monday, next Tuesday night.